G'day legends, Sunken Dutchman here. We're with the boys at the boat ramp, young Ash and the Hebrew Hammer. And we're going to go out and get some scollies today, that's the plan. So we'll see you out there on the water. Cheers legends.
Before we headed out to look for scallops, Gever wanted to check out a wreck he'd found. I landed right on top of it when they dropped me in the water, and the current was pumping. I had to kick as hard as I could just to stay on top, and then I only sort of could relax once I got within the sort of eddy behind the structure. You can see that the current was whipping up all sorts of sand and silt and seaweed, and we decided it really wasn't worth our while. The current was just way too strong at this first spot.
I was right on it. The fucking current is ripping. You stay. I'll come to you.
On our way back up to the scallop grounds, we ducked into a little bay out of the current just for a quick look to see if any squid were about. And I came across this, what I thought was a green lip abalone shell, and I knocked it off the rocks just to show you guys what it looks like. But when I hit it off, I realised there was nothing in it, and then I saw a little blue-ringed octopus just tucked up inside, nestled away. Now, as you're probably aware, these guys are super venomous, not to be sort of played with. Even with gloves, I sort of try not to handle them too much, so I gave him a bit of a tickle with the spear tip, and then, yeah, just left him on his way. We had made our way up to the scallop grounds, and we were drifting over a pretty good patch. We were sitting in about 14-15 metres of water, and they were pretty thick. Sort of each dive that we did, I was able to sort of pick up around about 5, 6, 7 or 8 scallops. So that's pretty good in my experience. When you come up with sort of 2 handfuls after a dive, you get your bag limit pretty quick. Not that we were trying to get our bag limit, you don't need 100 scallops, but you get a feed pretty quickly. I actually filmed this over 4 dives, and then I ended up splicing the footage together into 2, just to give you a couple of perspectives, sort of that third person look versus looking down at the ground and seeing what the scallops look like in the sand with their little indentations. It was actually really cool to find this little doughboy scallop, this little red puffball that I give a tickle. I've never actually eaten one before, but I've heard they're not as good as the standard scallops we get, so I left him alone and moved on. You could probably hear, if you tried to listen really hard, the engines of other boats humming in the background. Whenever I'm surfacing in Port Phillip Bay, especially when the weather's nice and there's a few boats out on the water, I always look up and look around myself. I've had a couple of near misses where I've had boats come pretty close and motor over the top of me or my mates while diving, so yeah, I'm always extra alert as I'm surfacing up to the top. One thing I'm always watching is my dive watch, in particular my surface intervals. So when I'm diving, one thing that I try and generally do as a rule of thumb is however long my dive is, I'm sort of trying to rest at least double that on the surface. It helps me, I just don't cook myself as quick, and also it reduces the chance of blackout. Make sure that you're sort of getting enough oxygen back in your system after you come up from a dive. Apart from the outline of scallops, it can get pretty barren, but it is amazing to see. You always find something to look at, as is the case with this little spider crab here. Gave him a bit of a tickle and a push up the bum. But yeah, always fun to see what's down there. After about 10 dives, I was done. I'd collected about 60 to 70 scallops, and that was more than enough for me. So I jumped back in the boat and was ready to go home.
So it's the next day now. Got home last night, just couldn't be bothered shucking. So next day, I'm just going to shuck these scallops out here at the beach. Just easier, saves the clean up at home. Got about 60, so I'm not very quick at them, so it might take me about an hour. It takes me about a minute each, maybe a bit less, but we'll see how we go. So yeah, I'll show you how I shuck some scallops. So to shuck a scallop, this is just how I do it. I don't know if it's the best way, but this is just what I do. You get your scallop. If it's open, great, but if it's not, you might have to jam your knife in the side a bit there. But I just do a cut across the top, the curved shell, right, and just release the scallop meat from that curved side of the shell. The other side's the flat side, so release it from that. And then all I do is basically, I eat the roe, so I just trim off all the guts and stuff, which is all this stuff here. I just do one sort of slice across the back, like that, right? And then I just get my knife underneath. Oh, and there's a poo shoot here as well, which I like to cut off. I do again, one slice up the back, and then I just get my knife underneath the muscle of the scallop and just take it off like that. Once I got that off the shell, I just use my fingers just to pull the frills off and stuff like that. Just comes off pretty easily. And then, yeah, that's pretty much it. There's no real rocket science to it. Takes a bit of time. There's obviously better ways to do it than this, but give it a bit of a wash, and that's my scallop there ready to eat or do whatever with. Cheers.
If there's anyone out there wondering what to do with them once you've got a bag of scallops, this is my absolute go-to. Very simple, just pan-seared scallop with wasabi lime mayo and some pickled ginger and either some black sesame or some furikake sprinkled on top. It is an absolute winner. That's it for this adventure, guys. Get out there, get wet, and go get yourselves a feed. Cheers.